What a thrilling qualifying with a lot of shocking results. I mean, what a crazy top three. Even Q1 was crazy. Are the upgrades actually working for these teams? What teams are actually going to be good in the race? Because we got some data to go over. Let's talk about all the sessions and then let's get into what teams to expect to be quick over the weekend, not just for qualifying. All right, let's talk about Q1. So Aston Martin actually brought something to their car. I wouldn't call them upgrades. They actually brought the AMR 22 back to this GP. So they were actually slower than last year's car, which is pretty pathetic. Is that all to do with upgrades and downgrades and so on? Not really. They had a horrible outlap. I don't know why they waited till the very last second. And then that screwed them going into high-speed corners and so on. But I'll tell you this. Ocon was close to that deadline, and Ocon actually had a pretty decent lap and got into Q3 himself. So, I don't know. This Aston Martin team is going down. Quite sad to see. Not really sure what to expect with this team. Did they not get the setup right? Don't really know. Hulkenberg got out, which was actually kind of a shock to me, but the Haas car is not that much quicker than it used to be, let's be real. The setup probably wasn't in the right window. They weren't really that quick. But those are the main concerns. Logan, typical. Lance, we thought it. Yes, he did have a pretty bad not having a practice, and pretty unfortunate for him, but we all expected Lance to fall out in Q1. In Q2, Daniel Ricciardo makes it back into Q2, which was a nice surprise. The AlphaTauri car is kind of sitting in between that Q2. If they got to Q3, that would have been pretty lucky. The actual Alpine boys were very fun to watch here. Actually, shockingly, very fast car here. And they got through the Q3. Magnussen falls out. Magnussen's actually been topping Hulkenberg for the past, 3 or 4 races. So I like to see it. K-Mag's my guy. So I'm very happy to see him back into form and the actual Haas car performing at a better pace. Although Daniel Ricciardo got his lap deleted, I don't think he would have made it through the Q3 anyways. I didn't see what his actual lap was before the deletion. But Yuki is a little bit fastened by like a tenth or two, which is normal. He's only had 60 minutes. He's got to get to grips. We'll see what happens in the race. I don't really expect his car to get points. I'd be shocked if Daniel or Yuki got a point or two. Would be nice to see, but I don't expect it unless we get a very chaotic race. But let's talk about the banging Q3. What's happening? Why are these teams so close? And let's talk about it in general. All right, so Piastri at P10. Piastri's been having a pretty off week, I gotta say, or weekend so far, even though it's only Friday. Piastri was not on it. I kind of predicted this. It's a track with a lot of tire wear issues. Even through the qualifying lap, you gotta be very restrained on how you take certain sectors. If you take sector 1 very fast, it's very hard to take then sector 3 just as fast because the tires actually shred up by the time you get there. It's a difficult lap to put all together. Him and Perez weren't really putting too many good laps together. Perez, by the way, this is Perez's second lap. Verstappen's lap got deleted. So, yet again, behind. Verstappen would have been first without the deletion of lap. That's obviously the big talking point. Verstappen getting his lap deleted. The car was pretty unstable, and why did this happen? It's kind of the same thing with Singapore, with big bumps, with big curves. You can't put the car as low as possible like the Red Bull loves it to be. The Red Bull loves that thing to be to the ground, flat, picking up all the gravel. But you can't actually be like that with the car here. So that kind of results in the car being a little bit more unstable, a little bit hard to catch, making for issues for the Red Bull squad. Is the car slow? Absolutely not. I still expect Verstappen to come back through the field. He'll have some difficulties actually with the top 3 though. Now Russell, he's been a bit off Hamilton's pace the whole time. I think that car, honestly, I think Hamilton, it was his qualifying to lose. He's not performing in quality like he should be. I think he could have been as quick as Leclerc. The sector 2 was a yellow. That really put him behind. I mean, yes, the car was very unstable into like turns 19, the second to last corner where the track limits were at. Yes, he was very much oversteering into that corner and barely being able to catch the car, but that's no excuse for messing up in sector 2. Sector 3 was actually green. If he had a green sector 2, he would have been up there, maybe right behind Leclerc or right in front. But him at pole position, that's where we see Hamilton's drive. He knows exactly what to do. He knows how to take care of the tires. But now he's hoping for a great start. Here in Circuit of the Americas, it's very difficult to actually gauge how well you've started because the corner is so wide the first turn. So crashes happen, kind of like what George did to Sainz. Well, George took him out. He shouldn't have done that, but Sainz was trying to prepare a move to get Verstappen back into the first turn. So yes, you can do a lot of these things, but it results in a very tricky turn 1, and we could see some crashes happening. So risky from anybody really that's not P1. If Leclerc gets a good start and he gets away, that's a good thing because actually having clean air here is super important, especially for sectors 1 through 3. And 2, obviously you want to have that slipstream because of the whole entire straight, but it's important having that clean air. That's why the tire strategy will be very important here. We're going to have a 2-stopper 100%. The teams that go for 1-stop are going to try and edge out the points. Last year we saw Magnussen go on like the mediums for like 40 laps or something. It was ridiculous because Bottas put in the gravel. So yes, is a 1-stop possible? It is. It's not a great strategy though. It only worked because so many of the cars in the back were fighting, so K-Mag actually had the opportunity to stay ahead, kind of conserve the tires, drive pretty slowly, but he didn't have to worry about the other people from behind. It was a very interesting scenario. Expected to stop. So Ferrari and McLaren are going to be very, very deadly here. The pace on the Mercedes, though, comparing it to the Red Bull, they were very quick. Now, we don't know fuel loads here, but it seems like this 2024 floor is working for their squad. It seems like this floor is doing its job. I mean, from the little changes they've made, automatically getting to grips with it, that's something to show you for Mercedes. It's looking very bright. Hopefully this continues because last year, yes, they were quick here, but with certain things added to it. Leclerc and Verstappen fought for a little bit. Verstappen had a horrible pit stop, and Hamilton kind of had like the perfect scenario happen, and they still could not win. They had the perfect tire strategy. They worked it all out, and they still could not win. Now here, I think they're better than they were last year. They're pace-wise. They're actually looking quick on those hard tires that they actually tested on for practice 1. That's looking to actually be brightening up for him, but the car is just fast in Verstappen's hands. Yes, he might struggle a little bit with a little bit of oversteer, maybe some understeer in some few corners, but it's not really going to kill him when it comes to the actual race itself. It's going to be a tight battle for who's going to step up on P2. I really think Hamilton can edge the win just over how fast the car is and how quick he's been this weekend. I got to give him his props, give him his flowers. He's been great. Norris, same thing too, kept it within track limits, but the man of the hour, the Ferrari stan, Leclerc. Leclerc was a beast. He really, throughout every single session, he was the most consistent. He was putting it within track limits every time. He was just beautiful. And it's funny, he had like no celebration getting that pole either. Like the guy was just like, slight work, brush off the shoulder. But yeah, Leclerc was very entertaining to watch. We'll have to see how the tire wear is with Ferrari, but man, they look like a very, very deadly team coming into 24. I think 24 is shaping up to be something huge. I don't know what Aston Martin is doing. They were so close. Alpine seems to be getting to grips. This is a track that shows you whether your car is balanced or not. So it shows that the Ferrari is stepping up. It shows that the McLaren is stepping up. We know that the Mercedes keeps constantly making steps on steps on steps. So we'll have to see. I'm not that doubtful that the Aston Martin upgrades actually worked. I know a lot of things went into that scenario. We'll have to see what sprint qualifying tomorrow in the actual sprint race. But if I'm Aston Martin, take out the engines, put in new engines, try and switch up like the setup and optimizing it to test something for tomorrow. Right now, there's no loss at what they can do. Same thing with Haas. I don't really know with this direction. We'll have to see what the car, maybe Ferrari's picking up on some things with the airflow. We'll have to see. 2024 is shaping up, but what an exciting Circuit Americas we have. Keep up with the channel, uploading Saturday and Sunday, talking after the sprint and after the race. So thank you all so much for the support. Please leave a like, subscribe. It would mean the world, and peace.